Hey everyone, it's Sal here. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. So today I wanted to share with you 5 gorgeous gourmand fragrances for those autumn months. I am super excited for today's video because autumn is just one of my favorite times of year, if not my all-time favorite time of year, you know. It's just so cozy. I love the change of the seasons when the leaves start to turn golden, brown, orange, all of those autumnal sorts of colours. And of course your pumpkin spice lattes as well, who doesn't love those? So I just love autumn. I love my cold weather fragrances as well. Those rich, heavier scents, you know, those are really up my street. And the 5 I have to share with you today are the most indulgent, rich, and gorgeous gourmand scents ever, you guys. They're so good. So without further ado, it's time to sit back, relax, grab yourself a drink and a snack, and let's get started with the video. So first up today, you guys, we now have a solid classic in my collection, I would say. It was once in the declutter category, but thank goodness I decided just to keep it, and that perfume is Elie Saab, Girl of Now. So this fragrance, I don't even know where to start with this one. It is just a indulgent, sweet, addictive, gourmand scent, if ever there was one. So if you enjoy your nutty notes in fragrances, if you also enjoy orange blossom, then and if you haven't tried this, then what are you doing? Seriously, this is like a combination of those two things to the extreme, basically. If you think of a baklava dessert, that's what this fragrance reminds me of. It's like a syrupy, luxurious, nutty, rich, indulgent dessert. That's really what this fragrance reminds me of a lot. Honestly, this fragrance is just incredible. Lasting power and projection and everything is really, really good. I would say maybe 7 or 8 out of 10. It's very strong without being too punchy. It's quite a soft scent, I would say. In the texture of it, it's like it's quite soft and velvety and like syrupy as well. So it's not like too overpowering. I mean, it probably would be if you sprayed too much, but on the whole, it's like a nice strength overall, I would say. So addictive. I think I used to find this a bit too sweet, but now I'm growing to love it more and more. And I would say maybe partly due to the time of year that we are now in, I would say I'm probably going to be gravitating more towards this than I would have done before, if you know what I mean. I definitely would prefer to wear this in the colder months, like without a doubt. I completely love this one. The bottle is something to behold as well. It's a really nice heavy bottle with those kind of faceted little segments on the bottom there, and the petal details on the top, which perfectly contrast with the golden amber juice. I just think this is a really gorgeous bottle. It definitely makes me feel very, very cozy actually when I smell this. Just the ultimate sweet, indulgent, cozy, feminine, beautiful gourmand scent for the colder weather, and I just really enjoy this one. I would definitely check it out if you haven't already. Something interesting I discovered about this one actually is that it layers quite nicely with Baccarat Rouge. So if you own that fragrance, or if you own both of them, maybe you could give that a try. So I sprayed a little bit of Baccarat Rouge on first, and then I layered this one over top, and it turned into something really quite complex, interesting, multi-layered, you know, and a little bit unusual as well. So I would try out that layering combination if you haven't already. But overall, this is a fantastic fragrance for the colder weather, a truly beautiful gourmand scent, and I'm really glad to have it in my collection. I'm also very glad that I didn't declutter this one. So that is Elie Saab, Girl of Now. Apologies, by the way, if my hair's looking a little bit, you know, worse for wear. I'm trying to be gentler on my hair, like not using heat on it anymore, not washing it too often. So in between proper washes, I will just wash with plain water. And that's just because I'm trying not to strip out the natural oils and things like that. But that's, in case you're wondering, like my hair, it's clean, but it's just looking a little bit worse for wear because I don't use heat on it at all. I don't overwash it. and I don't really blow dry it either. I kind of leave it to air dry, so as a result it might not look quite as polished as it sometimes does, but it's just because I'm trying to take better care of it and like leave it alone more and let it grow. Next up today we have Black Opium Intense from YSL. This fragrance is just so nice, you guys. If the original Black Opium was too sickly sweet for you, then I would give this one a try, because it's definitely toned down with the sweetness. It's still a sweet perfume, but I would say overall it's more balanced, because there's like a bitterness in here from the berry notes and the absinthe, and it's kind of creating just a balance basically between those notes and the very sweet Black Opium notes, if you know what I mean. It's overall better balanced, I would say. The scent is a bit more interesting to me, it's a bit more refined, a bit more sophisticated. Yeah, if you were slightly tired of the original Black Opium kind of DNA, if you were a little bit tired of that scent, but you wanted something kind of similar from the line, I would give this one a try. It is very different to the original, so I kind of like that about it as well. It's not just an intense version of the original, it's actually quite different as well. They've changed it up a fair bit, I would say, and it's a really interesting addition to the line. So I really like this one. I still need to try Black Opium Extreme. I haven't tried that one yet. I do actually really want to. I have a feeling I might really like it, but at the moment I just have my Black Opium Intense and my original versions as well. I love them all, but this one almost reminds me of like an Irish coffee or some sort of boozy sweet coffee drink, and I just find that really nice and almost kind of comforting. It's quite cozy. I think it's particularly nice for the colder weather, you know. I wouldn't really say that this is a perfume I would want to reach for in the summer, to be honest. It's not really what I would consider to be a summery fragrance. I would probably say that the Black Opium Neon is a perfume that I would be more likely to reach for during those like warmer months. But certainly in the autumn and winter I will go between the Intense and just the original, but for something a little bit different but still quite gourmand and addictive, I would check out Black Opium Intense. Next up today we have a really interesting new addition to my collection, and that is Mukhalat from Montale. Now I first heard Mila LeBlanc talking about this one and it sounded so intriguing. I think at one point she maybe said this is the scent of something that doesn't exist or something like that, and I just thought, you know what, I have to try that. So I ordered a sample first of all. It wasn't quite love at first sniff. I was a bit taken aback by it at first because it has a very prominent strawberry note in there, which I know what you're probably thinking. Like, you're probably thinking that doesn't sound like too nice to have like a really obvious strawberry note in there. I don't know, maybe you like strawberry, but for me personally, I was a bit thrown off by that. But it was during the dry down of the scent that I really fell in love with it. And it kind of, although the strawberry is very prominent at first, when the scent develops on the skin, it kind of becomes more interesting and complex and very unusual. So I'm just gonna spray some on this little test paper here. This fragrance is so unusual to me. Wow, you really don't need to spray much of this, it's quite strong. I don't even need to hold that up to my nose the full way because it's very strong. It's hard to even put my finger on what this smells like. So from what I can remember of the notes, you have your strawberry, you have your almond notes, you have your vanilla, and you have your Peru balm as well, which I don't know offhand what that's meant to smell like. I definitely get the strawberry and the almonds together to create this almost strawberry shortcake, or like almost like a cherry bakewell tart but with strawberries instead of cherries, if you know what I mean, like a kind of baked goods feeling, but unusual, kind of interesting and a bit strange. I was reading on Fragrantica that some people were saying how it reminds them of certain scented dolls that you used to be able to get. Now, I've never owned any of those, like I don't really know what they smelled like or anything like that, but I read some reviews where people were mentioning this and it reminds them of dolls in general, maybe because there's like a slightly plastic, almost like a plasticky kind of smell in here. Like not quite, but kind of, almost like something this kind of reminds me of as well is, you know those strawberry Haribo sweets? You know, like a gummy strawberry or something like that. But it also reminds me of baked goods because of the almond and the vanilla. And it has almost like a kind of warm, gooey baked goods feeling to it as well. As you can imagine, you guys, this is an incredibly unusual fragrance. It's very unlike anything else. The only thing that it kind of reminds me of a bit is the Burberry Her line. So I briefly tried Burberry Her and Burberry Her Intense, and I wasn't a big fan of them, if I'm being honest. I actually think that if you were curious about those perfumes, I would recommend this one over those, because to me those fragrances smelled too sickly sweet, and they smelled almost quite chemically. There was something strange about those two fragrances that I couldn't quite put my finger on, but they were kind of harsh to me. Yes, they sort of had a Baccarat Rouge feeling about them, kind of, but they were very, very sweet and they didn't smell that refined. They just, I didn't really, the atomizer of the bottles were lovely and they projected nicely and things like that, but I didn't really love those fragrances too much, the Burberry Her fragrances I mean. So I would recommend this one over those. This is kind of similar in the scent profile, like the kind of the style, like the feeling of scent that this is, because this has that like fruity nature to it. It has that very aerated kind of cloudy spun sugar texture to it in the way that it projects. So it's very, very strong and it creates this very prominent kind of scent cloud around you in a similar way to like Baccarat Rouge, like the Burberry Her fragrances. This also does that, but I would say it smells more refined and more interesting and more unusual than the Burberry Her perfumes. So I would recommend this one over those. But I wouldn't say to blind buy this. This is not blind buy safe. I wouldn't say you can purchase samples from Notino. That's where I got my sample. And then I think I ordered this from Notino as well. But this is possibly one of the most interesting, intriguing fragrances I've ever smelled, because of how unusual it is. With, I think it might be the Peru Balm note in here. I have a feeling that might be the note that's giving it this very, very unusual, kind of mysterious, like aloof kind of quality to it. Something that almost smells a bit plasticky, but then it smells a bit like airy, like spun sugar, unusual, you know. I really, really enjoy this fragrance. I actually really, really like it. The lasting power is insane. So this definitely lasts all day. It's a projection beast, as are most of the Montale fragrances really. They're all pretty strong. And it has that kind of thick, cloudy texture and like a nuttiness to it as well from the almond, and the kind of creamy, sweet, gourmand, gooey baked goods vanilla sort of scent to it as well, with a very prominent plasticky strawberry scent. So it kind of sounds like, it might sound slightly unpleasant when I'm explaining it in that way, but actually it's a very beautiful fragrance to me. I just wouldn't necessarily blind buy it. It's one of the most interesting scents I now have in my collection, you guys. It's really, really quite intriguing to me and very enjoyable to wear. I'm just going to put this little thing back on it, the wee charm. So this is a really nice gourmand fragrance, I think particularly for the colder months. I mean, I remember reading the description of this perfume on Notino. I think it said something like, this is a perfect fragrance for all year round, but to me personally, I feel like autumn and winter, maybe spring as well, would be the best kind of months for this, but that's just my opinion. So that is Montale Mukhalat Eau de Parfum, a new addition to my perfume collection and a very addictive, interesting gourmand scent. Next up we have the beautiful Hypnotic Poison Eau de Toilette from Dior. Now I do also own the Eau de Parfum now, I really, really like that one. However, to me this one is definitely a gourmand, and the Eau de Parfum is not really a gourmand to me. This one is a very cakey, vanilla and almond kind of scent with that kind of creamy, dry fruitiness about it as well from the plum. Very, very addictive, very beautiful. The only kind of downside to this one is the lasting power, but I have sort of found if you spray more of this, then it does like project and last a bit better. This one is just an absolute classic, very recognisable, very addictive, very inviting, cosy for sure, a very cosy kind of addictive gourmand fragrance. Really smooth as well, very nice for those autumnal months, and I really, really enjoy this one. So that's a gorgeous, smooth, almondy vanilla scent, Hypnotic Poison Eau de Toilette. And last up today, but by no means least, we have the beautiful only one, the only one from Dolce & Gabbana. Now this perfume is truly stunning, you guys. I really would recommend this. To me, it almost reminds me a little bit of a caramel latte, but it's kind of powdery from the florals as well. It's not only a gourmand, it definitely has those fruity kind of nuances and the powdery florals. This fragrance is just insane. The lasting power is really, really good on this one as well. Really nice strength. I wouldn't necessarily blind buy it though. I don't think this would be for everyone. Just the combination of the pear with the florals and the caramel, it might be a bit too much for some people, so I would just give it a try first if you can. I personally really like this one. I think it's beautiful. It's been compared many times to Black Opium, I believe. I wouldn't necessarily say they're like that similar, so even if you like Black Opium, you're probably gonna like this, but I would still sample it first if you can, if you know what I mean. I would say if you enjoy the likes of La Vie Belle, if you enjoy Black Opium, fragrances like that, then there is a good chance you would also enjoy this, but like I say, it's best to sample first. It does have that very cozy, warm, inviting feeling to it, you guys. It reminds me of a latte of some kind, like a sweet, kind of caramel flavoured latte with some powdery florals like irises and violets on the side, and some like fruits as well. That's what it kind of reminds me of. It's a really beautiful fragrance. Very nice for those colder months for sure. So that is the only one from Dolce & Gabbana. So there we have it, you guys. Those are my top 5 gourmand fragrances for the autumn. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what your top 5 gourmand picks would be for the colder months. Thank you again for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, then you may also enjoy these other videos that I will leave up on the screen here. So until next time, you guys, take care. Bye.